In this video, I'm going to talk about similarities in addiction to harmful drugs and sugar. Obviously, they are not the same thing. I'm not claiming they're the same exact thing, and I'm not claiming the severity of the effects are the same thing. However, it is important to look at the information so that you can make your own judgment about it to see if it makes sense to you. The first thing I want to cover in this, I referred to myself as a Gluchead for many years, and I referred to it as a Gluchead because it's short for glucose. You know, metalhead, someone's really into heavy metal, being really into or addicted to something. That's where that word came from. I just made it up for myself. It is true, I did have a sugar addiction. What are the things that happen when someone is addicted to something? Let's first take a look at what the Mayo Clinic says. Not that I necessarily agree with everything on their website. I'm using it because it's one of the first results that comes up in Google. These are symptoms of drug addiction. Feeling that you have to use the drug regularly, daily, or even several times a day. I can personally say from experience with sugar, I had a very difficult time at times not if I didn't have sugar. Soothes me, makes me feel better, all these different things. Having intense urges for the drug that blocks out any other thoughts. I'm at the grocery store. I see a candy bar that I really love on the shelf. I know that I should not eat that. I've got this intense urge. I just can't help it. I'm like, It's like McDonald's. Have you ever driven by McDonald's? You just see the sign and almost start salivating. Like it like takes hold in your stomach. Like you just taste it and you have to stop and go through the drive-thru to get that Big Mac with those French fries. I'm not even joking. This is for real. I'm looking at drug addiction symptoms and I'm talking about sugar. And by the way, glucose that's in most foods, for example, if you go to McDonald's and eat bread, not to mention the other products, that converts into sugar, right, in the body. I'm not a doctor, but you can look it up online. Over time, needing more of the drug to get the same effect. The sugar. You eat the sugar, I feel better, seem like I feel happier. All is good, except I actually physically feel tired and all these other things. It's making something feel better, making certain that you maintain a supply of the drug. And this is very sad, but my father died of cancer in 2018. It was a very difficult situation for me, which led me to a lot of self-learning on these subjects. He would stock up on various types of sodas and things all the time. He had to have a stock of soda and potato chip and things like that. Basically, anytime I went to the house, that would be there. And that would be his first thing on the list. I'm looking at it as comparison. I'm not saying they're extreme and severe in the same way. Spending money on the drug, even though you can't afford it. This is, one of those things. Let's say you have food at home and you're out and about and you see a Taco Bell drive-thru, or you run in and want a candy bar and that's gonna be your lunch. Maybe it's cheaper to make food at home. I don't know. This is one of those like in the middle ones in terms of the money point. I would venture to say that a lot of money is spent on sugar. It doesn't really make that much sense to me in terms of a parallel. Normally you go to a gathering and there's sugar and treats and yummies there. So it's kind of like not really continuing to use the drug, even though you know it's causing problems in your life or causing your physical or psychological harm. Going to sugar on this one. You might have a body condition. You might know that every morning when you wake up, you feel super sluggish. The body's tired and, and low energy and all these other things. And yet continuing to consume that one is a parallel in my opinion. Again, this is on the Mayo Clinic website for symptoms of drug addiction. I'm just reading this. If you look at this from the viewpoint of, I don't quite see the same parallel. Like, yes, someone can be addicted to sugar and yes, they can be blinded by that and continue to eat it and can't control it. I've seen it, I've been there myself, but the stealing thing and that super extreme motivation for sugar, I'm not gonna say that's in the same energy level. Driving or doing risky activities when you're under the influence of the drug. Okay, again, this is really more pertaining to a harmful drug, not so much sugar. Spending a good deal of time getting the drug, using the drug, or recovering from the effects of the drug. Well, okay, parallel. Eat half a bucket of ice cream after dinner, and you were supposed to mow the lawn and vacuum and clean the house, and you ended up passing out. This is something that really happens. It's happened to me. I could name 5 people off the top of my head that eat ice cream or eat candy bars or eat junk food, and then all of a sudden they're super tired and sluggish and don't want to do anything and just want to go home and go to bed. Failing in your attempts to stop using the drug. This is applicable. How easy is it to stop eating sugar? processed sugar, candy bars, ice cream, loads of ketchup, barbecue sauce, all these things loaded with sugar. How easy is it to stop eating that with your favorite meal? Experiencing withdrawal symptoms when you attempt to stop taking the drug. This is really applicable to sugar. I don't know if you've ever tried to stop eating sugar when it's part of your lifestyle, and then you're just like, okay, I'm not gonna have sugar. I'm cutting it out. And what happens before you know it? You're eating sugar again. It's just the way it goes. It is so hard to stop eating sugar. So the parallel really, in my opinion, based on this data and what I know of many friends and family, coworkers, all of that, a lot of these symptoms are the same. And particularly the blindness and the addiction, particularly for those that have a body condition or have trouble, physical tiredness, low energy, all these things, or they're concerned about their weight, all these things that can contribute to with sugar. But when you feel like you have to have it as part of your meal or part of your diet, or you love that Coca-Cola with your hamburger, whatever it is, and you've had it that way your entire life, that's really tricky and that's really challenging to get away from. What does it mean when you can't just walk away? What does it mean if you can't just say, you know what? I'm not going to have that today. Of course, there's some people that can do that. And do I believe you have it in you? Of course, you could do that. It is not easy. I recommend you do your own research on this in terms of what sugar is, what glucose is. And there's a lot of conflicting opinions out there. If you watch my videos, you know that I, am into low carbohydrate lifestyle. I don't like eating sugars. I try to be a good influence on others on that, because you're gonna have family members that unfortunately fell to the consequences of sugars. There's this incredible research. It's actually long-term research being unraveled and uncovered on the consequences of sugars in the body related to diabetes and cancer and all these other non-optimal heart conditions. I'm not a doctor, but I read a lot and study a lot. I hope you find this interesting. Maybe this data will help look at it in a different light. If you decide to take the challenge of eliminating sugars from your day-to-day life, try to do it on a gradient, step by step. Maybe you have 2 ice cream bars every night. Maybe just have 1. Maybe a month later, you're having 0 ice cream bars at night. If you have 3 cups of ice cream, maybe you just go back to 1. Or if you have a big thing of ketchup, or you just switch out the ketchup with a ketchup that has lower sugar in it. Start there. There's all these different things you can start to do to wean off of the heavy sugar, whatever works for you. I did include a couple links down below. Hope that was helpful. Thanks for watching.